And I am pleased to be joined by Darius Nasimi, who was born in Afghanistan and came to the UK in 1999 when he was just a few months old. Now, last year, he became the first British-Afghan to stand for an election for the Conservative Party. And, as you could just see there, he joins me in the studio. Thank you very much for coming into the studio. Great to have you on the show. What do you make of the fact that locals, not just at that hotel, but in several different communities, are very concerned about the influx of asylum seekers to their local area?
Well, I think this is a national problem. I fully empathise with both sides. I can see why both sides are frustrated. But I think we need to come up with a new solution. I don't think the solution is to keep asylum seekers in hotels. Some of these asylum seekers have been in hotels for over a year now. And they're still waiting for the Home Office to process their asylum cases. It's the government's responsibility. The Home Office needs to process these cases quicker. The conditions in the hotels are very bad. You know, we're working with a number of bridging hotels across Hounslow, Spelthorne and Elmsbridge, and we can see that, you know, children's hairs are falling out. There's so many cases of attempted suicide. There needs to be a distinction between refugees and asylum seekers. So whilst on the one hand I understand the concerns of the local people, but on the other hand I think the government needs to speed up the process. The process is broken at the moment. I know there is no magic wand. There is a housing shortage. But how do we move away from relying on bridging hotels?
Yeah, there is a lot of concern, though, in these areas that we don't necessarily know exactly who these people are. And, in fact, we were all told initially that this was going to be a hotel, it would appear, specifically for people from Afghanistan. We've already heard from our reporter there that one chap has gone around saying that he's actually from Egypt. I mean, how do you think the Afghan community feels that if they are fleeing genuine Taliban oppression and they are seeing a lot of people potentially coming from safe countries using the same routes as them, maybe using some of the same excuses as them or reasons as them to try to claim asylum in this country, are people from other areas giving Afghan asylum seekers a bad name, do you think?
I think you know, there were 10,000 Afghans who were airlifted out of Afghanistan and brought here to the UK. And they're still, you know, some of them are British nationals, some of them have British passports, some of them have indefinite leave to remain. And they're still, you know, stuck in these hotels. So I think we need to be very clear that the situation of Afghan refugees is not the same as refugees from other countries.
Yes.
Afghan asylum seekers, you know, they're fleeing persecution. They have every right for their human rights to be respected. You know, they're fleeing persecution. We have so many cases of people who've still got family members in Afghanistan and they're being targeted by the Taliban. Some of these Afghan asylum seekers were working closely with the British Army, with the ex-servicemen.
So would you welcome what Rishi Sunak wants to do? Apparently he's going to announce this tomorrow, which is that anyone who comes through any kind of illegal or irregular route whatsoever, which potentially would even include people from Afghanistan, will, from a particular date, not be allowed to claim asylum in the UK now or ever, or even come to visit.
Nobody comes to the UK unless they're desperate to leave their country. Nobody, you know, nobody wants to come here unless nobody's willing to come to the UK, to put their children on boats, to take such a dangerous journey unless they're facing some kind of persecution.
I am now just Rishi quickly then on that about young men on their own coming over unaccompanied who say come from Albania, having passed through several safe countries?
Well, I can't speak for people from other countries, for example, but in the case of Afghan people, and you talked about Rishi's new policy, I mean, his policy recently where he announced that he will be removing the interview from asylum applications.
Yes.
I think that actually makes it easier for a lot of asylum seekers to put their cases forward. But his recent policy to say that if you come to the UK by boat, then you won't be allowed to make an asylum case, I think that contravenes international human rights because and actually, a lot of these asylum seekers, they didn't come to the UK by boat, they came by plane. So you can't just say, and it's not really about how you came to the UK. Everyone has a unique situation.